You know, let me tell you the most powerful place I've ever been in my life. In a living room and den with brand new people, and I'm standing there with my big dream and some chalk or a magic marker and a board and stand. I'm powerful. That night, I have the power to change lives forever. Never to be the same again. Because I'm gonna plant seeds in them that they've never seen planted or heard planted in them before. You give me a board and stand and put me in a living room or dinner and give me 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, maybe 12 people, I'm dynamite then. I turn them every way but loose and they don't even know what hit them. And you know what? I can't tell them how good it really is. As good as I tell it, I can't tell it how good it really is. And you know what? Most of them are on a dead end, or it's what they did that they're living on, not what they're going to do. Because they've been taught just to reach a certain level and then that's it. And that's just a springboard for the future in reality. Making any sense to anybody? Boy, you put me, I don't care where I drive, I don't care if I have to go through mud puddles. You let me get out of that car and walk in that place and take authority in that room, and man, I am dynamite. And you know what? The only thing I care about, did I do the best I could do that night? And whether they get in or not, I could care less, doesn't faze me, because I'll get them tomorrow night. Next. Never worried about it for an instant. Never think, man, I'm going to lose some sharp ones tonight. You know what I mean? And which way it goes, I thank him. Well, I'm driving home, I'm happy as a lark. I'm just happy as I can be, because I did my thing that night. Now they got to do their thing. If they're looking for a dream, I'm not going to go there and judge the color of their skin, their age, their education. I'm not going to judge all that stuff. I'm just going to judge, can they muster up a desire to be free? And that's who's going to make a difference in the world. It's the dreamers that make the world worth living in, period. So you can look at me now and say, oh, Britt's so sharp, he could really do this thing. No, you don't remember when I got started. I was just like you. My first suit that I had was a suit that I had 2 pair of pants and 1 coat to. I bought them at Lago Mars, $7 a piece, $21 for a suit with 2 pair of pants. You had the pants on one table and the coat on the other and you had to go in there and just and I was really lucky because I found 2 pair of pants to go with 1 suit, 1 coat. And because you wear the pants out fast and you do the coat. So I've got a $21 deal here. And it looked like it had been ironed with a waffle iron. I thought it was sharp at the time. I remember when we used to do functions on the weekend, we'd have 3 tuxedos, red, white, and blue. Well, rose really more than red. We couldn't find a red one, so we wore rose ones. But then we wore blue ones, and then the next day we'd wear white ones. The grand finale was white tuxedos, white boots. I remember when I sponsored Wayne Martin, I had a pink suit, white belt, white boots on. Our women wore red, white, and blue clothes to functions. I mean, we were all American back there, folks. I'm telling you, we were. I hate to think of what we've done. We've run off more people than you can shake a stick at. I'll tell you that. See, you learn to enjoy it. We used to go to functions in caravans. We all had CB radios, and we'd take our food with us. And boy, we'd pull into a rest stop and we'd have a ball. We had a ball going and coming to the functions. Didn't we? We were like a bunch of kids having a good time, and almost illegal we had such a good time. Laughing, cutting up, carrying on. So you learn to do that in groups. You learn to pull your guys together. They love it. People love to be part of something that's going somewhere. And some people lost some of that. Some of you guys ought to regenerate that and just get excited. We used to look forward to the functions because we'd see everybody, and I could eat other people's food, and I always ate more than we cooked. Enjoy life, have a ball with it, and then don't get too serious about things. Don't judge. People trust you when you're not finding what's wrong with them. Look at what's right with them and build on that. You know what I mean? My granddaddy gave me some advice when I was a little boy. And I was asked because my father was an alcoholic, and I didn't trust my father, and I couldn't really talk to him. much, and he was an alcoholic, so I couldn't get close to him. And but my granddaddy I could, my mother's father. And I remember one time he said, son, he says, what I always do in life, I always do what it takes plus a little bit more. Because he started with nothing and he got huge farms. In fact, they cut it up in pieces for most of his children to have a big farm. And he did it from scratch. He was a Frenchman. And all the children adored him because he was a discipline. He would with great love, but also when he spoke, it was like God speaking to them. I mean, they listened. When they got too big for grandmother, she'd turn them over to him, and he handled it very well. And but he said, son, he says, because I lived with him for a couple of years when my father was such a problem. He said, what I've always done, Bill, is whatever it takes to do something, I'd always do it plus a little bit more. And he says that's the way you look at life. You do whatever it takes plus a little bit. You don't ever do just enough to get by. Do whatever it takes plus a little bit more. He said, the way I run my farms, when I was a young man, people would go home at a certain time. He said, I'd plow a little bit more. He said, that little bit of difference made a huge difference long term. You know, I always did that as a city manager. I never left on time. I never waited for the clock to hit 5 and I'm gone. I'm always there 15 or 20 minutes. I'm calling the mayor or somebody afterwards or doing this or doing that on purpose. I'll do whatever it takes plus a little bit more. And that's why I went through, that's how I went in the Army as a private and came out as an officer. In no time, flat. Good attitude. Do whatever it takes, plus a little bit more. In this business, I've always done what it takes, plus a little bit more. And the guys that know me know that I always do what it takes, plus a little bit more. And that's sort of the way you look at life. Whatever it takes, plus a little bit more. And you know what? Life's going to smile back at you. Now, Peg and I didn't have any kids, but the fact was, Peg still came home, and she's never been back to work. But she's worked at home. But she's been much happier not working for the Heart Association. And so, boy, when she came home, she couldn't believe I was really serious about it, because she'd worked ever since we'd been married. And when I said, hun, come home. You're free. I'm free? Yeah. And she just got all excited about it. So say that's an immediate goal. That's one of the first goals, all right? Then everyone knows what you're working for. And now let's say the second goal is to bring the guy home. Because then you're on the road, man. Then you can put more energy. Then you can do what I did. You slip your clock around. You go to bed about 2 to 3, and you get up about 10 in the morning. Any guys can handle that? Yeah. Well, you know, just you may have to get up a few mornings and watch your neighbors go to work just to make yourself feel good, and then go back to bed. Remember when you did that, Al? And that's goal number 2. Hey, here we were moving right along. But you see, okay, what's goal number 3 going to be? Maybe a home. Maybe we want to get that home that our relatives thought we never own. They never thought we could make it. This is the one you get your relatives with. This is the one that all those that thought you didn't have what it takes, you sort of, yeah, you know, you sort of, revenge, you know. You sort of get them back. You get in a place that, and then you're very gracious with it. You can hear them talking now. Where do they get the money to get a place like this? I mean, who do they think they are anyway? They're big highfalutin people. Okay. Or maybe you get that second home at the beach. Now that opens a lot of doors, doesn't it? And so there's a third thing can come on. See, now later down here we can look at other things that you want to do, because you're not confined to 4 goals. I just said you start off with 4, so you always know what you're working towards. And so then you know, because you know you're seeking to get this mental attitude, this attitude about life of spending this time where other people are, seeking to reach the epitome of human existence, right here. So you identify these places, and then you always know what you're doing. Because see, if the wife's free, she's going to help you to work to get you free. She's going to get excited about it. If kids need a swimming pool, if you want to put a swimming pool, get the kids involved. Hey, Dad's going out tonight because we're working on getting a swimming pool. When we reach a certain level, we're going to get a swimming pool, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Now, let me be honest with you. You're not going to luck up, and you may luck up and get lucky about 1 or 2, but never 3. I've never known anyone get lucky on 3. I've seen them luck up on two, but I haven't seen anyone luck up on the third one. You're going to work your hiney off time you get the third one. You're going to be a known expert in the business time you reach. If you can go three, you can go anywhere you want to go in the business because you've learned the foundational principles involved. And it didn't matter that you look like you're working hard. It's that you're consistent. You get used to working at nights in your business. You get used to working depth with your people, building friendships, doing for them what no one would ever do for them in their whole life. And but not doing it to the point that you're doing something they should do. You're looking for what the next level that you're teaching them, so you set the example for them. And then the friendships just grow after that. The friendships continue to grow because you're serving. See, the greatest leader is the greatest server. So you become their servant. You become their servant. They're not your servant. So you have this opportunity to serve your people, your downline. But like if I sponsor Al and Mary Ann personally, I'm not going to go around them and work with their people without their consent and approval and knowledge. Now, if Al and I have a real good relationship, he's going to say, Bill, anytime you give him, like if Al would ask him right now, if I want to go work with any of his people, if I happen to be in an area somewhere and I saw him, Al would, because Al respects me and we have it's a two-way street. You see, he'd say, Bill, anytime you're anywhere in my group, do it, please. Right, Al? Wide open. But if I tried to work around him and not include him if I'd go around some of his people and say negative things about Al would hear it back. He wouldn't want me ever down there again. Aren't you in my group, he would say, which would be natural, normal. You see, but as long as I'm down there as Al's number one friend and uplifter, so to speak, and if I'm smart, I'll go down there, and if I work with his people, I'll talk about Al and Mary Ann while I'm there in a very positive way. I'm their strongest advocate, really, if things are going right. You see what I'm saying? As long as you do that, there's no problem. Then you can build friendships in depth. So it's good to have friendships in depth, but your best friends should be the ones that you're working with first in an organization. These are all important little tidbits I'm giving you right now. And the people in the business for a long time know exactly what I'm saying. But you see, it's all doable. All you got to do is say, I can do it. That opens up. See, attitude determines altitude. If you got a good attitude, you can go a million miles on a good attitude. A good attitude with upline and downline. And it's words that determine attitude. When your walk and your words are together, and your attitude is right and your words are right in agreement with your attitude, with your words and your walk, your words and your action are together and not confusing and conflicting with each other, then people love it. They're fine with you. People love to be around people that know where they're going and are working to get there and have confidence they're going to get there and don't even doubt it. You just know. But the question is, can you overcome all the negative that builds up over that period of time? Can you understand why it comes and how you overcome it? See, that's what you always got to figure. See, here's the bottom line to that. If you always play the game right, you never have to worry about you never have to worry about what you said or what you did because you did it right. So you don't have to apologize. If you made a mistake, you can say, hey guys, I made a mistake. I'm a human being. I apologize. I won't make it again. Be big enough to say it. They'll say, hey, that's fine. If you made an honest mistake, what's the big deal, right? You don't mind when people make a mistake. If they're working for you, or if they're around you, and you know their attitude's right, and they make a mistake, say something that doesn't come out just right, and say, hey, I didn't mean the way it sounded. Here's what I really meant. They say, oh yeah, we understand. Don't worry about it. See, people love to forgive people that goof up of human error. If the attitude is good, there's no problem. Amen? That's my secret of how I got big. I didn't fool with people that were trying to fool me. I could see through them, and I said, take a flying leap. I ain't fooling with you. I will not waste my time with somebody where I've opened the door and they won't come through. They won't do their part. Now that may sound cold-hearted, but not really. How would we have a large organization if I wasted all my time with people not doing it? It would have kept me away from all the people that will do it. Someone said, Bill, why don't you help these really poor people more? I said, well, you want to help these really poor people is get a whole lot of people so each one of us can have enough money so we can go back and take one of them and spend 65 years letting them know they're a human being. You are a human being. Oh, I am? Yeah. They got so much junk up there, you can't start off with that. You can only do so much for somebody. If they don't do their part, you can't do your part. And so some people are so far down mentally, and you can't go change the world that way. You change the world with numbers. And each one of us can go get somebody, help somebody. That's the way you'll get them someday. So you don't start your business off with all the people. It's going to take them 75 years just to get going. You see, it's sort of like this. If you look at like 25 to 45, 35 right here at the median. Because this is where people get up and go, hadn't got up and gone yet. Now when I got in, I was over here, I was over the hill, I was 38. Okay? Now, but the probability of success decreases as your age increases and you're broke. Because you get used to it mentally. And so that's why the most success-oriented people in the room, where the energy is people on the way up the where it's maximized at that age. Because once you get about 40 and you don't have any success, the probability of success is decreasing big time fast. In fact, you get someone 60, 70 in the business, and then they get excited, and if they've had good experiences in their life, they can be powerhouses. They'll go fast because they can use a lot of knowledge and information if they have it, which is good. But what percentage of them do you get? Very small. So that's why most of your people are going to be in the 22, 21 to really 35 bracket, and that's pretty easy to understand how it's going to happen. You tie that in to this right here, the people on the way up, and tie it into right here, people that are motivated because they got the action. They're motivated. You tie that in right here and get that done, and that's where the action takes place. Right up here to the people that are motivated to go do something about it. Okay, y'all got it? I drew this other little thing up here, and I want to do this one about the meetings, how to work depth. So I'm going to race this one. So let's say that you sponsor, this is you, and let's say of legs you sponsor, let's call this leg A. Couple, person, or couple, whatever it happens to be. Here's your thinking when you sponsor A. Number one, I'm willing, you don't tell them this, they don't know this yet. I'm willing to give them a percentage of my life for the rest of my life. I'm really. It's a marriage. It's like you marry your wife or your husband. They own me. They own a right to me until I die, as long as I'm capable, as long as I'm active. You don't tell brand new people that, but it's sort of like me marrying with Peg. I married her forever. 44 years behind us, and if we live another 44, she'll own me as a husband, with all the rights and responsibilities of a husband. And so you do it. So this is like that. This is not like a regular business. They will own a right to your knowledge and the right to call you, but that doesn't mean they got a right to bore you or to worry you or to take advantage of you. I'm not saying that. If they try to do that on me, I'll scratch them in a second. But when people are in submission, I want to help them. When they call me no more than I do, they don't need me. If I call them one time, I advise them something, they don't do it, they don't need to talk to me anymore. Because they know more than I do then. So if they call me back and say, have you done what I advised you last time? No, well, don't call me anymore, you do it. In fact, brand new people, if I had new people right now, and I was showing them this to do, and they'd call me, well, what have you done? Are you doing all 8 things? My job is to teach you how to do the 8 things. Make you see why it's important to do the 8 things. If you're not doing them, when you get ready to do them, call me. No need of us talking about something you haven't done. Let's talk about what you're going to do. And if I've already talked to you about what you're going to do and you haven't done it, you might as well do it, and then we'll talk about what you did. I'd separate who I'm going to deal with real quick on this. If I sponsored A or B, and I can see their attitude, and if they're trying, that's all I got to do. If they're making a good, strong effort, that's all I got. If they got a good attitude, they got me forever. Good attitude. If they're the stupidest person ever got in this business, I'll never leave them. I'll always help them. If their attitude's right and they're making an effort, if they show this to 500 people, which they shouldn't, and nobody gets in, they still got me. If they're doing their best, they still got me. In fact, I'm going to go out there and do it for them until I got them going. You know what I mean? But if someone's attitude's not right, I'm gone. Just that simple. And that's what I advise you to do, because you can spend your time with people. There's too many people that want your knowledge, and with attitude will be good. So what you want is to help them get sponsored. You don't go down to the local funeral home and rent a bunch of chairs because you invited 10 couples to come. Because one couple shows up and wonder what the other 20 chairs are sitting in there for. Looking around, well, someone didn't show up. You put the chairs where you set them up only after they get there. So the ones that get there don't wonder why these others aren't there. What do they know that these people don't know? So you have to be careful about how you do that. Okay, you make sure you've talked to the host, make sure they know about the coffee and the Cokes and the cookies and maybe food bars. You need a little sample of those in there. Whatever you want to sample, you can do that. So you invite people and you help them sponsor some people. Then you got A sponsored. When A's got something to lose is when they're really in. Because until that time, they're the bird dog for you. And these people really are yours until they sign up. Because if they quit, guess what happens? All these people become personally sponsored by you. So all along, you keep your eyes open for them, and hopefully, because you want them to own the business. Because they're going to have to build a business if they ever have it too. You just setting an example of how to get started. Okay, now by the time they have 6, usually you try to help them get 4, 5, or 6, something like that. So they at least get 2 legs going out of that. Remember the 2 legs over here I showed you? Hello, y'all hear me? And you tell them, hey, this business is what? What is this business? Simple? Is it a piece of cake? Is it easy? Okay, you just help them get through these first barriers. See, like this weekend, you're a student, and students learn nothing unless they go teach it and use it. If you don't take it and go use it, you wasted your time and your energy. Because students never learn, they learn only what to teach, and if they start doing it and teaching it, then they got something. So you start living it, doing it, teaching it. And rebellion doesn't work. If you rebel from your upline, who's going to educate? Who's going to teach you? Where are you going to get your education from? You just can't grab it out of the air. You can only get it from someone that's been there and done it. It's going to be like going to college if you don't. You go to college, and what do you learn? Those professors haven't been there and done it. They're teaching you theory. Most of it's theory. That's why you wind up with nothing except a degree, and most people don't do what they got the degree in anyway. You don't learn it until you do it anyway. This is good information. This is real stuff that I'm giving you. This isn't somebody giving you, some theory. I'm talking actual facts, what I've learned over the years, what I've applied over the years, and what you can do as well as I can do it. And it's empirical. It works for anybody that does it. And there's nobody that thinks you can't. And that's why you got to come back to the power, because the power is in submission to the concept, submission to the rules, submission to the system itself, which you're a part of, so to speak, even though you're on your own business. But you'll have thousands of people helping you. And so and that's what happens. That's how you make it. When people are helping, when we help each other make it. You will help many other people, but many other people will help you. That's the concept here. So you can be in different places of the world, and you can't be in every place in the world, but we can have people there that will help you because you would help them and everything like that. So you have to get the concepts right. When you have the concepts, it's not a free gift. It's that one helps the other, and the other helps the other. And when we all win that way. And that's what a system's all about. That's what the organization's all about, is you'll win when you're not even realizing it. If you hang in there long enough, if you overcome long enough, if you keep on keeping on, you will have, just like I have, that work through other people that you don't even know hardly. But the other people are happy to help you. You have unbelievable authority and power over yourself, over your future. You have it alone. You have it over you, and no one else has it over you. You have it for you, unquestionably so. All you got to do is learn how to use it. And it's just going to be just as good for you as me, because there's people out there that relate to you. There's people out there that relate to me. They may not be the same people, but they're going to relate to you. You're going to have just as high a percentage relating to you as I'm going to have relating to me if you do the basics right. And that's respect your fellow man. That's just being honest. I mean, I'm not going to come here and feed you a bunch of stuff that says you don't have to do anything and you're going to make a lot of money. That is wrong. You're going to work harder than you've ever worked in your life. It's going to be a work of love. because you know you're going somewhere with it. So you understand the power of the spoken word, and you just simply state the future in the present, in the now. I know what to do. I need to do it. I want to do it. I will do it. That's a fact. All I got to do is find other people just like me, and they're out there. So I'm looking for dreamers. I'm just looking for dreamers. You're really saying I'm looking for people I can serve. I'm looking for people like me that want to be free like I do, that want to control their own destiny. There's millions of them. But the main thing is you got to set the right example by doing what they need to do to start new people. That's the biggest problem we got in the organization right now. A lot of people try to start new people cheaply. No, you put the energy in with new people. So if you do it right, thousands will do it right. If you start it wrong, nobody's going to know how to do it right. So showing the plan, number one thing on here, you become an expert when you do it night after night after night. Someone says, don't you get tired of doing the same thing? It's like a play on Broadway. They never get tired because they get better at it, because the audience is always different every night. And so they do it over and over and over, but they get better and better and better because they're doing it over and over, and they enjoy giving a great performance to people. An actor, an actress on Broadway hates to make a mistake. It's a horrible thing for them to make a mistake. So when they really get good at it, the better they are, the better performance they do, the happier they are. I don't care if they did it 1,000,000 times. It's never boredom because it's brand new people. And every time you show the plan, it's brand new people. There's also older people in the business there that you're proving what you do right there. So if there's anything you get good at, it's showing the plan. You do that and everything else seems to fall in place, folks, I'm telling you. Okay, let me look at a couple of these questions. In showing the plan, if the goal is to get a new person around the bigger team, which form is best for this purpose? Hotel meetings, product pickup, or monthly team meetings? It's a good question, and here's something. You don't start a business by taking new people to a second look meeting. That's what a lot of people try to do. That's called trying to get a cheap direct. It's not where you build friendships. You build friendships in living rooms and dens, period. When you go to take your energy, your time, your respect to their den, living room, den, or wherever it happens to be, and show respect for that home, for that family, for their surroundings, everything, you're beginning a friendship right there. You're courteous, you're neat, and you watch how you say what you say. If they say, let's have a beer after it, you don't dare do it because they don't know yet. You thank them, but say no thank you. So when you show the plan to somebody, it's good then, within a reasonable period of time, to get them to the hotel meeting, which should be a second look meeting. And that's when they can see a bigger pen, it's gotten more success, more time in the business, that's showing the plan. And then they get to see someone else showing the plan, and they see the same plan that you showed them. That's why we got to all show the same plan. If they go there and show them a different plan than what you showed them, why didn't you show that? You're going to have all sorts of problems. So they have to follow your personality, but show the same format. Number 1, set them at ease. Number 2, dream. Number 3, plan. Number 4, the 642, and explain about the 2 entities. And number 5, there's 5 things you do to get started, et cetera, et cetera. If you follow that format, you'll be fine, but put your own experiences and your own words in there, but you're following the same format. Now, it's good for them to go to a meeting where there's other people, and you look, if it's a doctor, you find another doctor in there and let them shake hands. And I want you to meet so-and-so. If it's a lawyer, or if it's an accountant, or if it's a school teacher, or if it's a mechanic, you find somebody in there they can relate to, and that's powerful for them, to see someone sort of like them that's doing good. In fact, when you hand out tapes the night they see the plan, you relate at least one of the tapes to that person, or whatever his profession is. That's why you in the back of your car should be a box of tapes, so you can have all the different types of professions. You should put little cards in there to show the different ones. And you don't know who's going to be there all the time, so you need to carry them in the back of your car. It's a minimum thing you can do. It's intelligent to be prepared when you show the plan. Okay, but then when they take them to that second look meeting, that's not a place that you build your business. You build it in a living room and den by creating friendships, period. You do it personal, touching, personal there, drinking their coffee, drinking their Cokes, eating their cookies, and leaving before they wish you'd left. so they would be welcome back again. And be thankful you were there. Be thankful you got the beginning of a friendship. I've got a lot of friends that started right there in living rooms and dens. When I take my time, my energy, my money, my gas, my car, my knowledge, and give it to them and charge them nothing for it, it's mind-blowing. Me or you, either one, same thing. And they'll keep, well, no one helps me for nothing. I mean, a lawyer charges me $250 an hour to talk to me, and a doctor charges me for 10 minutes $150. So, and you're helping me. This doesn't make sense. Second looks are okay, but too many people start using them for crutches. It's not the way to do it, folks. You want to do it right? Spend the energy and time with your people personally. And you just need to look for people just like you. If you're male or female, just look for someone just like you. And you'll hit real soon. See, you don't want to do anything to repel people from you. You want to attract people to you. If you can relate this to trains, it's like you're moving on, you're moving somewhere. People don't want to get on a train and go nowhere. They want to get on a train that's going somewhere. And so when you do the plan and they see that you're friendly, you're courteous, you're respecting them and their families and their situation, but you're going to go whether they go or not, and you're already moving on. That's when they're attracted to move with you. Hello? And so that's such. So you speak with confidence, not a overbearing where you're better than they are type of You're just excited that you're going someplace, and you don't, your body language and your words, when it all fits together, they get a much different message than what you're saying with words quite often. That's why the words and the message from the body language and the in-between words that aren't said that are meant have to all be in agreement, and then you're fine. Biggest thing you're going to have to learn, which is a piece of cake, is approaching people. Just keep your eyes open. There'll be plenty of them around. Start writing their names down on a list. Carry a little list in your pocket, and every time you think of someone, write their name down there. It's easy. Relatives, friends, wherever you get your gas, any place. You never know where those winners are. Like I told you last night, here I sponsored the biggest alcoholic in the town I'm in. Turned out I got 2 beautiful diamond legs out of it. Paul Miller's group, he's one of the largest, most successful group. I got it out of that. Out of that alcoholic that never sponsored a soul. The reason we got someone in because of him, because his former wife is now a beauty operator, was then, I don't know if she is now or not, and she had remarried a pole climber, telephone company, and she had a beauty shop in the basement of their home. She and another lady fixed women's hair. And his doctor had bought a orange Corvette, 454 engine. And his wife said, you got to get rid of that car. And he was in the business, but he bought that orange Corvette, and he was going to sell it at wholesale because he had to get rid of it to keep his marriage together. And so he asked me if I wanted it. I said, yeah, I'll take it. So I paid him cash for it. And we didn't drive it much because Peggy didn't like his orange. I told Peggy, I said, you drive that daggone car. She's too little and too loud. I said, drive it anyway. It needs some miles on it. Drive it. So she drove it out to get her hair fixed one day. And this gal had a window that she could look out and see the bumpers of the cars that parked outside her little shop where she fixed the hairs down in the basement of people's hair. And when she saw that Corvette bumper come up, she got so excited, she ran out. Peg said she ran out, and where'd you get this car? That's my dream. I've always wanted a Corvette, etc., etc. And Peg just innocently said, well, we got in a business recently, and Bill's making some extra money, and this is what he bought. And, what kind of business? What? She says, well, I don't know how to tell you. He'll have to come and tell you. So I went out that night and sponsored she and her husband. Next night I sponsored Mike and Ann. Her husband did 3 meetings and quit, said it wouldn't work. He's still climbing poles. Anyway, the alcoholic never sponsored a soul. But he told us about his former wife that had remarried, and we sponsored them, and they quit, and then we sponsored the next couple. They quit, but gave us 2 legs. I just didn't quit. Quitters lose, winners win. You know what I mean? Man, I hate to look in the mirror and see me as a loser. Whew. I'd break the mirror, I think. I couldn't handle it. I've always said, what if I find anything better than this? I've always looked for something better than this. Never found anything better. But we all want to own our own business. Any normal, if you don't have dead brain cells, you want to look in the mirror and see the boss. That's one of the biggest most absolute facts of life. There's a feeling that you get when you earn in your own business to live a lifestyle that you select. There's something about it that you can't explain that you just feel good about. And so it's worth having to overcome a little garbage, a little negative, which is people, not the business. It's never the business. The business is going to stay the same. The business always works, but you got to find the people that'll work it. And you can't start thinking because you're in 10 or 15 straight that nobody's out there. They're out there. It just, you may find them immediately, or it may be 50 for you down the road because you're in the wrong crowd or the wrong area, so to speak, of people you're looking at. But you just stay alive and keep a positive attitude about it, because you will find them. And sometimes they come in little groups. It seems like I could go and you get 5 or 10 and just be absolute duds. Remember, 95% of the people die broke in this country. So you're looking for that 5%. You're looking for some of those that don't want to, that would have. And so you're going to run into many more people that don't have a dream, aren't going to get a dream, than you are that do have a dream. Y'all with me? But there's millions of us in this society that do want more and do want to do something about it. And yet they come in all sizes and ages and everything. You just can't tell who it is. But if you're one, you ought to just thank God every day that you are one, that you are a dreamer, and that you want to make your life valuable by making it valuable to other people. That feeling that you're not just a regular run-of-the-mill person, that you're going to separate yourself out from the masses in a very special way, because you're going to pay a price. Anybody in this business making money, they are happy. I don't know of anybody that's honestly making it, working the business. And you know what? This is universally true. All of them are excited about the future. You find anyone not excited about the future, and you don't want to be near them. Somebody excited about, you know what? I could call Paul Miller right now, and if I could get him on the telephone, and everyone would be quiet, I'd say, Paul, are you excited about your business right now? You know what he would say? I'm more excited right now than I've ever been about the business. Same thing, all my guys would say that. They would say, the ones that are building the business would say, I'm more excited today than I've ever been, because it keeps increasing all the time. And if you're doing it, you're more excited than you've ever been. The way you improve your self-image is get a big dream and go after it. You don't prove it by what you might do. You prove it by seeing yourself do it. Identify, fortify, and go after it. And your self-image will suffer if you see yourself not able to do the things that it takes to work to make your dreams come true. Remember, everyone's unique. No two of us are even twins, maybe they'll look identical, but just regarding that, we're all individuals, separate, and we're all made beautiful. We're all beautiful to somebody. My wife thinks I believe she's beautiful, and I don't know what other guys think about her, but it's none of their business, really. But she thinks I'm handsome. Now, don't tell her the difference. But self-image is an easy thing to change if you want to, and as you get a goal and work on it. That's why I'm saying in college it's nothing more than a self-image booster, because you find out that other people. Now that's why if you go see, I respect doctors, and I'm in total submission when I saw my cardiologist yesterday. But I also know that he hadn't read some books that I think he should have read. He hadn't have some knowledge that I think he should have, because he gets all entangled in doing what he's doing and doesn't go look at the new research and see what's available that could help people like he should, I think. And he's a young guy. He's a nice young guy. And he's not perfect either. But that's where when you think people are superior to you, it's when you have a slow self-image. So when I walk into years ago, I used to think doctors were gods. They knew everything, using all these words that they take a simple word and put it in Latin and make it look complicated, everything. But fact is, they're just regular human beings like you, like everybody else. Lawyers the same way, the whole thing the same way. I don't think anybody's better than me. But I will be in submission because they have knowledge that I don't have. They have an ability that I don't have in a particular area, so I'm in submission to that. But that doesn't make me have a less self-image because of that, if you know what I mean. Because it's like you may be a high-level person and this or that. But if you're in my group, you're in submission to me. When we're talking to business, I'll be in submission to you all day long. Like there's a couple doctors in here that I need something done on my eye. I had a little eye thing when I watched television or worked on the computer too long that would bug me a little bit on my left eye more than the right eye. And so there's a eye doctor in here the other day. I forget his name right now, but he came up, and I'm in total submission. I listen intently because he's got information I need. It doesn't take anything away from me. It's just putting yourself in a position where you can learn things. That's a sign of a good self-image. A good self-image means you can be in submission and not feel inferior. Hello, y'all hear me? It's when you can be in submission and not feel inferior because you're absorbing information and knowledge. And understand that's the way the world works. And people that are in submission are people that are going to go places. Just show me who you're in submission to. If you're in submission to the wrong people, you're going the wrong place. If you're in submission to the right people, you're going in the right direction. And so that your self-image will put you in submission to the wrong people. That's how you can tell a self-image is low, because they're being self-image to people going the wrong direction with their life. So if you've got the ability to put yourself in submission to people going in the right direction, now in submission means for that business purpose. Whoever wrote the question, the way you do it is say, I understand, I have no problem. I got a big dream, I'm doing something about it, and everything's working and going in the right direction. Everything's fine, everything's going in the right direction. There's no force on earth can make someone succeed. When you make it too easy for anybody, they don't appreciate it. If you build this business, it's going to be because you did it. Because you had the burn, you had the desire, you had the guts to do it, and you had the ability to rise above the problems and not become a problem. To be a problem solver, not a problem creator. Part of the negative in your life is when you really want to help somebody, but they won't help themselves. It's a lost cause. Until they decide they got to help themselves. You got to get clear and honest about you. Other people are not your magic. You're the magic. You're the one that's got to take charge. You got to decide where you want to be, where you want to go with your life. Find somebody that's already been there and submit to them. Submit only so the knowledge can pass, so the information can pass on a basis as needed. And you'll be there. If your attitude is good, you'll make it. Because attitude means that you can have an information flow from whoever it is to who needs it. And you can have it. It's not a shortage of it. There's plenty of it to go around. And this organization is loaded with it. Because your upline really wants you to make it just like you really want your downline to make it. It's perpetual and it continues. It's a continuation of Rich and Jay's dream, and I have great admiration for both of them. They started with nothing, they were broke, and they had the dream that I tapped onto after a while. So here we got people from every religion, every race, every age group, every educational group, and we're proving we can have one big tent and people can get along together that are dreamers and people that operate in the best interest of their fellow man. So you got it all right here, right together. But this is not something you don't work like you would work a business. This is something that I recommend you set aside 5 nights a week and make it a matter of life, and just make it a matter of fact, just like going to work. Just work your business like you had a job, except you work for yourself, and just do your best. And this is what you're doing with those nights. Draw your groups out, and it'll talk to you and tell you maybe this leg, these 2 legs can go when you do a meet at this house, or 3 or 4 of these legs can go here. You got killed more than 2 birds with 1 stone. That's when you're really cooking. And you just do it. And the ones that want to go, the ones that don't want to go, don't bother with them. Maybe they want to go later. Don't force anybody anything. I never forced anybody. In fact, I had to turn some away because my train was moving on, and it always was. That's because we were always growing. We didn't look like it. I'd look like I'd go months and nothing would happen. But when I'd look back, something had happened. You'll be the same thing. You're working. It looks like nothing's happening. But if you don't think and you keep on keeping on, pretty soon it's going to accumulate. All those words, all those seeds that are planted are going to start growing. Your crop's going to come up. If you're like me, you're excited about being able to be so powerful in a room with people. And I don't care if your knees are knocking the first few times. Everybody's nervous the first few times they show it. It's okay. Don't worry about it. That's when you sponsor the most people, really. But it's a very, very much of a great power position. What I'm telling you is this is a real business. If you treat it like a hobby, I advise you to go home and get your kit and turn it back in and forget it, because it's not going to work for you, and you just be a bad example for us. If you can't set your priorities and do it the way it should be done, simply as the way I've been teaching it, don't be a bad example for us. Quit and go forget it. Don't wait around 2 years and then quit. If you haven't got the gumption to make it work, please don't be bad example for us. If you're really here because you want to be free, go ahead and be free. But do it by being consistent. And that's 5 nights a week, maybe 4, but you set your calendar up for 5 nights a week. But remember, it's family business. So if the family comes up, there's a conflict, and you need to do something family, fine. I advise you to take Saturday and Sunday for the family. Go have it so Sunday belongs to you and your wife if you're married, and your kids. Take your vacations and program it, put that in the right, not when there's a function. Try to make it fit right so you don't miss a major function. You do all the 8 things in that thing. You can do them. Don't play at it. Don't play games at it. When things get the darkest, work the hardest. If you get around people that are negative, unyoke and get away from them quick as you can. If you have a problem with your upline, if you got an upline that didn't hear, or maybe your upline's been here, maybe your upline has plenty of knowledge. Maybe they don't. If they don't, just pass them. You'll always deal with the people that really want you to succeed. And you should always keep yourself as an example, which means you don't let your people pass you. In terms of, when I say don't let them, I mean because you're working harder and you're in longer and you should be bigger than they are, so you can advise them. Amen? But by all means, keep it honest. This organization is known for that. No one made you go anywhere, do anything against your will. We make it available. Just because some people don't want to go doesn't mean we don't do them just to satisfy them. We're going to have what we need for people that need it. So the ones that don't want to go can stay home, and the ones that want to go can go get what they're looking for. I've warned you about the negative, and it's not the business, it's people. Because everyone comes up with a different thought pattern based on their life since they were born. If you want to be an overcomer, join the club. If you want to help change the world, you're in the right place. Have to change number 1 first. Take care of business at home first. If you want to become important in the world, help other people succeed, honestly. If you want a power position, you got it where it's the greatest one I can tell you about. You can virtually change the world yourself if you get enough people involved. Because it's people that make the world what it is.
While the techniques and approaches suggested in this presentation may have worked for others, no one can guarantee that they will work for you. We hope, however, that the ideas presented here will assist you in developing a strong and profitable business. It is important to emphasize that success in any business opportunity does not come without hard work. Purchase of this product is optional and subject to the refund policy described in your purchase agreement for business support materials. Purchase of future business tools can be discontinued at any time. The financial achievements depicted in this presentation may reflect income from sources other than Amway Global, such as earnings from the sale of professional development materials or other businesses and investments. This presentation is intended for existing IBOs only and is not authorized for use with prospects.